Um, Hello guys, it's November 3rd, 2016. I don't have my headphone today, so my voice might be not as clear as the previous videos, but so I decided to do some garden work today because the sun has finally um, come out. And yeah, so I decided to do some garden work today. It's not raining. As you can see, I'm harvesting the saffron from the crocus bulbs, or crocus flowers, um, and this flower, it's only been, I think, a day or two, and it's already dead. And as you can see, the saffron, it's kind of stuck onto the dead flower, so that's no good. And I'm going to harvest this one right now, and I've harvested a few over here, as you can see. It's pretty cool. So so based on what I read on the internet, basically you just harvest the saffron as soon as the flower opened, and I guess I have to be quick too, as you can see. I'm too late for that one, so I'm going to harvest this one right now, that one probably tomorrow, and I already harvested that one a bit earlier. So I just found this really funny thing on the African marigold. So apparently this one, the seeds are already mature, and because it's been raining, the seed actually germinated while it's still in the dead flower. It's pretty interesting. I'll think about what to do with this, but this is a good sign because that means most of the seed I harvested are probably, fertile. So hey guys, it's November 4th, 2016. I decided to do a garden update in the morning, because by the time I get home it's probably going to be dark. Anyways, I'm going to give you the quick updates on the garden. So yesterday, November 3rd, I cleaned up the garden. As you can see, I swept up the leaves and everything, and I also rearranged the garden in a way that the plants that are going dormant are going to be on the outside area, where the rain would hit the plant, and so I would have space uh, under the roof, without the rain, for the plants that don't like water, too much water, during the winter. I'm thinking of the bulbs I'm going to plant, maybe this weekend or next week. Anyways, so as you can see, I repotted the rosemary and the lavender into bigger pots, and I hope they'll be doing very well. And I also harvested the sunflower. However, as you can see, the mold has taken over the seeds and everything else, so I don't know if the seeds are still good or not. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So yeah, I don't know. So I'm gonna let this dry, and we'll see. And then I also repotted the calla lily, and that's for the lavender, the pot, for the lavender. But yeah, I repotted the calla lily, and I found this big bulb. I'm gonna dry it and then store it. And the calla lily, I repotted in this one. And then, yeah, I moved the, I don't think this is Bird of Paradise, but I'll just call it Bird of Paradise. I moved it under the shield, so in the future it will be easier for me to cover it up with plastic bag. Um, so to prevent it from frost damage. I also get rid of the African marigold from the wildflower pot, and we only have a few flowers left, the Zinnia and Black Eye Susan, and this huge thing still growing. And then the, what is this? Saffron crocus doing really well, very pretty. And yeah, summer snowflake is dying back, which is a good sign. Lily is, I'm not sure if it's dying back or not. Um, Hydrangea leaves are still changing color. I moved raspberry over here, blueberry, lily of the alley. They're all dying back. Strawberry, yeah, I trimmed the strawberry very well because there's pretty bad mold issue with all the dead leaves and the dead strawberry, like the actual fruits. So there's a lot of mold. So I trimmed all the strawberries and I put on some sulfur powder to get rid of the mold. And the same thing I did for the dahlia. There, if you look at my previous videos, you would see that there's really bad powdery mildew on the leaves of dahlia. So I got some sulfur powder and then I put it on the leaves, and we'll see how that goes. Here's an example. Look at the leaves. Those white spots are the mildews, and so I covered the leaves with sulfur powder. It's supposed to be one of the most effective fungicide, so we'll see how that goes. Rhubarb, yeah, I think that's just some dormant bud or something. And then the asparagus, I trimmed all the dead stem. Another blueberry. Hydrangea, same thing, I dusted some of the leaves with sulfur powder, hopefully to get rid of some minor issue of mildew. Grape hyacinth, kind of dying back, but kind of not dying back. I don't know what it's doing. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the outdoor garden. Yeah, I trimmed that one too. I trimmed the succulent, and then these house plants are all doing pretty well. So I'll just let it do what it's doing right here. And this is the sulfur powder I'm using. Also, or I harvested and did some seed separation last night. As you can see, I finally got my hands on the African marigold seeds. Even though this isn't like the best seed isolation from the seed pods, I got a lot of seeds from the flowers this year. And I also did the isolation for black-eyed Susan. Seeds are pretty small, but they look very similar to the Coreopsis. Yeah. And then I also harvested some Zinnia seed. They look like this. Weird looking thing. Hold on, it's not focusing. Right there. I don't think these seeds are fertile. It's probably empty. So, but the seeds are supposed to look like this for the Zinnia. And then I also finally got my hand on the red sunflower seeds. Remember, I have a bunch of those flower heads outdoor. They're pretty dry, so it wasn't too hard to get all these seeds from the flower heads. And as you can see, we have like multiple different colors of seeds. This is interesting though, because when I planted the red sunflower, the seeds are in different colors too. So it's all genetics and stuff. It'll be interesting to see how those are different from each other. And then I will plant this snowdrop soon. Very excited because last year the snowdrop didn't go really well, and this year I hope I can get some snowdrop going. I want them to form a huge colony, so I wouldn't have to buy the bulbs next year. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this week. I'll see you sometime next week.